Hi guys, I'm back for the 6th episode of my brain tumor diary, and today I will talk about these various diets that I've tried during the past 6 months, which I have heard help reducing swelling in the brain and inflammation, etc. Number one of these diets is called the ketogenic diet, which people say helps reduce the sugar intake in your diet, which in turn helps reduce the growth of the tumor, because it turns out that sugar and carbohydrates help the growth of any tumor, not just brain tumors but any kind of tumors in the body. And this was discovered years ago, and a lot of people say that because we eat a lot of sugar, that actually helps tumor growth in the body. So basically cancer growth. Well, I had no idea about this finding until I went to one of these brain tumor meetups where one of the guys said that he's on a special diet. Everybody was asking him which kind of diet, but he never said it. So after the meetup, I went to talk to him and he told me that he doesn't want to give anybody false hopes, so he doesn't want to share it. But anyway, I asked him his full name, which he gave me, and then I did a bit of research on the internet, after which I found out what kind of diet he was on. So basically this diet is called the ketogenic-paleo diet. That is basically a paleolithic diet combined with this ketogenic diet. Now, if you have never heard of a paleolithic diet, that is what the cavemen used to eat. At least this is what I think. So they didn't have processed foods or bread, that kind of stuff. All they ate was what they could find foraging and hunting in the wild. That diet, the Paleolithic diet, has been combined with the ketogenic diet that's high in fat and low in carbs. Now, I must admit it's a pretty tough diet, and well, I did it for about 6 to 8 weeks. It was okay, but I couldn't really combine it with my lifestyle of traveling and going to work or going to the city, going to this, that and the other, because if you are on these special diets, you need to really be living a regimented life. Okay, I'm pretty sure there are people out there on the ketogenic diet that live this lifestyle and they say it's completely possible, but for me, it just wasn't possible. When you go on a trip to, say, Florida, good luck finding anything in a ketogenic restaurant or McDonald's or anything. So I couldn't find any ketogenic meals in McDonald's. Now, it turns out there are some ketogenic meals in McDonald's. You just need to take off the bun from the burger, but then what's the point of going to McDonald's if you can't eat the bun and you are only meant to eat the little meat patty inside? So I thought, if you are in the US, just eat what people in the US eat. So I was eating at Denny's in the morning, then I had lunch at Hardee's, the burger place, various other places. So I'm not going to go into small details, but I couldn't keep to my ketogenic diet. I also tried another diet that was low in fruit, high in meat and fat, but I didn't really like it. Plus, I didn't understand the logic. These guys that developed this low fruit diet argue that you shouldn't be eating fruits either because the fruit contains sugar, which is not good for you if you have a tumor, because tumor growth is helped by sugar consumption. Now I thought, okay, but when you combine this with your ketogenic and Paleolithic diet, that is a bit of a contradiction, because if you lead a Paleolithic lifestyle, your cavemen might have been grazing in the fields and forests and found some strawberries or blueberries or anything, apple for example, and if they ate that, then they ingested sugar within the fruits. So now tell me, I'm not supposed to eat any fruits which the Paleolithic people might have eaten. That's a bit of a contradiction to me. Now again, I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just your layman here telling you what I have found out on the internet. If you want somebody to develop your specialist diet regarding brain tumors or any other cancers, just do your own research or talk to your doctor or an expert or a dietitian or any other kind of people. Do not just listen to me. I'm just here talking, sharing my experience with my brain tumor and what kind of diets I have tried. I'm not telling you try any of these diets or go on any kind of diet or to eat something and not to eat others. All I'm telling you is what I have tried out. I'm not endorsing any of them or not saying any of them are better than the others. I'm just sharing my views here. With that out of the way, I call this my disclaimer. I carry on. So I tried the ketogenic paleolithic diets and the combination of them too. Then I came across this diet that recommended not eating any fruits or vegetables because they contain sugars, and the sugars are bad for tumors. But then my logic is, if the paleolithic people that have been endorsed by a lot of people that have tumors can be consumed, that kind of diet that the paleolithic people ate, then with that we should also include fruits, which has been endorsed by a charity who say that you can eat certain types of fruits that have lower sugar content and are a different color from high sugar content fruits. I realized there are quite a lot of fruits even on a ketogenic diet. You just need to count the calories and how much of that fruit you eat every day. I have developed an Excel file for myself, which I'm going to use more often after my surgery, because now before the surgery my thinking is I've reduced my sugar intake, I've reduced my meat and fat and everything. I've kind of altered my diet. I am not eating any refined sugars. I read the labels, etc. If the sugar content of some fruits or vegetables or ready-made meals is too high for me, then I'm just not going to eat it. I'm already drinking my tea and coffee without sugar. I am not making any cakes that contain sugar, or basically I've just completely cut my refined sugar intake. But if my sugar comes from fruits and vegetables, for me that is okay. I'm not going to fight against that. In terms of other foods, I also changed my diet because I'm eating more meat, which in the past I actually stopped because I decided I would become a vegetarian, pescatarian, which meant not eating any kind of meat. But then I realized that for a brain tumor sufferer, eating meat is actually quite helpful because it contains a lot of amino acids. Again, I'm not an expert. You can do whatever you want and do your own research. But I found that, okay, set aside the fact that some animals suffer when they are grown to be eaten as meat, but for myself, I am the most important. And on another level, we've been eating animals for thousands of years. And now, because of a certain group of people, it has become fashionable to demonize those that eat meat. I'm not one of those. I'm quite happy eating meat. And even at the time when I wasn't eating meat, I was still eating cheese, milk, fish, etc. So I don't know, it's all up to you. But I found out that meat is actually good because it gives you a lot of energy and all sorts of things, which I then tried. I combined my ketogenic diet with the paleolithic diet and some aspects of vegetarianism and pescatarianism, and I came up with a few recipes that were actually quite good for me, and I really enjoyed them. They gave me a lot of energy and I felt good. But then I went on holiday to Florida. That basically broke my diet routine. I came back, I tried to get back to it, but 3 weeks later I was on another trip, and then 2 weeks later another trip. So basically all this regimented diet was out of the window. But now that I'm back in the country and I have my surgery in less than 3 weeks, I will do a lightweight ketogenic paleolithic vegetarian pescatarian combination diet, and after the surgery I will try and go back to a more strict ketogenic paleolithic diet, because a lot of my friends that have suffered from brain tumors and have had their surgeries have gone on the ketogenic diet, and for them it seemed to have worked, and I believe it might work for me as well. It might not work for you or anybody else, and it might just be that we are 1 in 1,000, but I will try and go on the ketogenic diet again and see how it works out, and I will share my recipes online and on this video as well. It might seem like I'm endorsing the ketogenic diet. I'm not, because I wasn't on the ketogenic diet full blast, and I might not even be on the full blast keto diet after my surgery, because I will probably combine it with vegetables and fruits and all sorts of things. But as long as I feel good and it makes me feel better, then that's what is important. I know for a fact that my tumor will come back at some point. If it is in 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, I can't really do anything about it. But if I can change my diet and hope that helps prolong my healthy length of life, then I'm all for it. I will try it. It surely won't hurt cutting out all the sugar and other harmful substances from my diet. When you look at the bread on the shelf and you look at the ingredient list, I don't think it's helpful to eat a slice of toast that contains half an A4 page of ingredients. That just doesn't sound right. But again, I'm not a dietitian and I've never studied to be a nutritionist or any of these things. I haven't got a degree in healthcare or nursing or anything. In fact, I studied journalism and I've just done my own research on the internet and I'm talking about my own experience. If it helps you make up your own mind, but don't just listen to me and do what I'm saying, because that's not a wise thing to do. You don't go on the internet and then take one thing and just live your life like that. You need to research, weigh things in, put everything into the balance, do the pros and cons, and then at the end of all your research, try it. It's all trial and error, basically. The whole life is like that. I guess at the end of it, if you've done your research and you are figuring out your own way, what is making you feel better, then just go with it, take responsibility for your actions, and don't blame others at the end of it. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom here, but if you've been diagnosed with a brain tumor, chances are you will die a lot sooner than you expected, say, before your diagnosis. That is probably the most difficult thing to come to terms with. I used to expect to live to be 60, 70-year-old, 80-year-old, who knows. I thought I might die at the same age as my grandmother who died when she was 90. Well, now that I know that I have a brain tumor the size of an apple here in the front of my head, I am more doubtful. I will be happy if I live a healthy and happy life for the next decade. Then after that, who knows? But tomorrow I might walk down the high street and get knocked over by a bus and die. You just don't know. But now, this was a huge wake-up call for me. It triggered a lot of changes in my life, one of which was changing my diet. If I cut out refined sugars, all sorts of other unhealthy refined substances from my diet, in my logic, that can only be helpful. Now you can tell me, but if you eat a couple of strawberries or 3 apples a day or whatever, what happened to the 5 a day, for example? Now everybody's saying, if you eat five bits of fruit a day, all that sugar is going to help your tumor grow and you are gonna die sooner. Well, I find that a bit odd. I'm not saying it's right or wrong because I haven't got a clue, but just with my common sense, layman's terms, etc., I figure eating an apple or a banana per day, even with my brain tumor, is not going to shorten my lifespan. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to finish here. Thank you for watching this episode as well. If you've enjoyed, comment, subscribe, like, any of those things. But even if you don't do any of them, I'm absolutely fine. You can also message me privately, asking your questions. Not everybody likes to be public like this. I mean, I'm doing this for my own personal reasons. I don't think I'm doing anything harmful with recording these videos. There have been people that have told me it's a completely pointless thing and I'm just publicizing my brain tumor, which is completely stupid. I don't think I'm publicizing my brain tumor or any of these things. I know how I felt when I got my diagnosis. I didn't have anybody to talk to. So if you are in the same shoes and you feel like you have nobody to talk to, at least you can listen to me rambling on here about my brain tumor. And if that helps you, then that makes me happy. So anyway, thanks for watching again and see you tomorrow or whenever.